How to obtain Cyber Essentials certification with Windows XP. Many SMEs still rely on older legacy operating systems like Windows XP, and they normally do this through compatibility with particular hardware or other software that they've got. But it doesn't necessarily mean that they won't pass Cyber Essentials. So we've come up with the 10 points that you need to do to make sure that you're still going to pass Cyber Essentials even though you're using legacy operating systems like Windows XP. So when we look at running your certification, there's a process that we need to follow, and these are the 10 steps that we'll follow for it. The first is to identify the Windows XP machines and then create a safe zone for that. Essentially, we need to segment any of the devices that are legacy or out of provisional support. The second is then explaining how we're going to segment and isolate those different devices. Is it a standard VLAN, or are we going to use jump boxes or some other setup? And this really depends on the network as a whole. The third is making that device as up to date as it can be. Are there any legacy patches that haven't been applied? The fourth element is then adding compensatory controls. How do we harden the security around that device? Whether it's minimizing the use of the device, limiting what can and can't be accessed, whether it's accessed on the machine or the machine to the rest of the network. There's lots of different areas that we would look at to really harden the controls around the one or many devices that you've had that are now classed as legacy. Then we look at strengthening the boundary firewalls. So whether you have one network, multiple networks, and whether you've got the firewalls are between each of the networks or just to the outside world. Then we want to look at controlling the access to that machine. You don't want any random users to be able to access it directly, and you also don't want other devices to be able to connect to it directly. So you need some kind of jump box in the middle to make sure that it's controlling who has access to the device. Once we're happy with the access, we then need to look at securing the device itself and adding malware to that device. So any kind of protection that we can give to that individual device, the better. Now the device is working, we now need to make sure that we've got a full audit trail. So we want to be able to monitor everything that is connecting to that device and any traffic that's going to or from the device. Then step 9 is to document everything. We need to make sure that we know exactly how the device has been set up, how the security has been layered into it, and then most importantly, how the users are going to be able to use the device securely without jeopardizing any of the other devices on the network. And then step 10 is planning to replace. Now remember, all of these measures, they can be very robust, but they're still not ultimate. You need to look at how we can eventually replace the devices so that they are all up to date and receiving the full security updates and patches that any IT network device should be receiving. So you can achieve Cyber Essentials certification with an XP machine, but you just need to make sure that it's completely segregated, you've got multiple controls in place, and it's audited. So at Syn-Star, we specialise in helping our clients with all the devices that they have, whether they be in date and up to date or whether they're more legacy devices. It's all about helping use and get the most from your devices for the business, but not cutting corners on the security. So if you're unsure or you just need some help, then why not book a free IT cybersecurity review with Syn-Star? Please click on the link below.